extremely brutal case, one of the most gruesome that judges here say they've ever dealt with. And as you mentioned, that sentence, 120 years, which should tell you something about those acts. Now, McFarland did confess, Willie McFarland, he confessed to those acts in 1996, but it took investigators 3 decades to pin him with those murders, and that's because they had to wait for DNA evidence and new scientific evidence that linked him to that crime scene. These condominiums on Fitch Street, 3 decades removed from the terror of an August night in 1987. That's when Willie McFarland entered the home of his colleague Greg and unleashed what New Haven District Judge Elpidio Vitale described as a demonic level of violence and terror. McFarland bound Greg and his father, Fred Harris, with cords, stabbed them in the chest, and nearly decapitated them both after sexually assaulting Greg. Police who have been working this case for 35 years had their eyes on McFarland all along.
Interviewing him and having him talk about what he did during that August night was really bone-chilling.
Then Captain Ronald Smith was instrumental in meeting with McFarland while he was in prison for a different sexual assault and getting him to confess to the Harris murders, saying he broke in looking for money and a gun.
I could almost retire now, feel good about retiring, because this case really waned on me for many years, as it did many others.
23-year-old Greg and 59-year-old Fred were found days later after a relative called for a wellness check. But Tuesday, no family members were present, nor was McFarland, now 55, when he was sentenced to 120 years in prison for the murders.
Literally covered generations of officers working together and then partnering with the New Haven State's Attorney's cold case unit. We were finally able to make an arrest in this case.
That arrest didn't come until 2019 after modern DNA technology linked McFarland to the scene. But who is this career criminal who refused to enter the courtroom? His attorneys say there are 2 Willie McFarlands, one who was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and can be polite, and another who has 337 disciplinary tickets in prison, including 16 assaults on correction staff. They say McFarland is now in a wheelchair and old beyond his numerical years. And prosecutors praised the Hamden Police Department, saying that they left no stone unturned. The officers that we spoke to today, they are all now retired, but they tell us that they handed this case off to other officers who took it just as seriously, so they are feeling some relief tonight, and they tell me that they were working to find justice for the Harris family. We're live in New Haven. Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61 News.